Hi, what's up, everybody? My name's Jose Chamu, better known by my stage name Chips, and I'm a rapper from Long Beach, California. And today we're gonna be reacting to the seventh album in Iron Maiden's discography, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. I believe that's what it's called. Um, y'all been hyping up this album, and I also know that uh, this is the end of like the 7 album run that people talk about. That like, oh, this was the best Maiden run. After this, it kind of gets iffy, so and so. So it's gonna be interesting to hear like the send off of like an era. I would say not necessarily, but just of the part that you guys talk about the most, because I only hear about the first 7 albums. Like, yeah, I've heard talk of like upcoming albums, but the ones you guys really focus on is these 7 albums. And this is also gonna top off the 3 album run from Power Slave, Somewhere in Time, and Seventh Son. With that being said, let's get into the update for Caught Somewhere in Time. Now, man, it's why I hate reactions, because like I said, right after I filmed that reaction, I liked Somewhere in Time. Initially reacted to it, but when I heard it like 2 hours later, I was at the gym. It just clicked, and it wasn't because like I was working out to it. It was just because some of the songs, they're okay to work out to, like Wasted Years, Sea of Madness. They're not Heaven Can Wait. They're not as hyped as something like The Trooper, which I feel like energizes you. But with it just, I don't know, it just worked. I don't know, it just clicked. And then when I heard it in the car, it just all made sense. The album just, I got it. I understood why some of you guys say, "Oh, this is my favorite album. Oh, this is my, top 3 and it's not number 3, So like, man, this album Somewhere in Time, the biggest regret I have about the reaction is the intro, the Caught Somewhere in Time. Man, I underrated the shit out of Caught Somewhere in Time by saying it was cool. It was good. And first off, for you fucking dick suckers who be thinking like good isn't good enough, get the fuck out the reaction, bro. I ain't trying to have you right there, bro. Like, just, I should be able to say what's cool or what's great. Like, it's not even like I'm saying that the song's bad or anything. I'm just saying it's cool. That's valid. Like, a 7 out of 10 is still way more than a 5 out of 10. And 5 out of 10 isn't even a bad score. That literally means average. Just cool. But because it's midway point, so it's just mid, cool. But Caught Somewhere in Time, man. Like, I was saying how it's one of my least favorite intros. That it's no Aces High, but shit. And I don't mean in terms of like the feeling. I mean in terms of like how much I enjoy it as an intro. But god damn, man, like, man, Caught Somewhere in Time is fucking crazy. It's probably my favorite intro so far. Maybe not, I don't know, man. But like, I still think that it's a little funny. Like, I like it, but I kind of like it for the wrong reasons. The like little bridge thing where Bruce is like, "It's always on my time." Like, the way he says, come on, listen to it. He sounds kind of whiny. Like, I love that part now, but I think I like it for the wrong reasons. But just the chorus is just so catchy. I couldn't stop singing it this whole week. The "Cause Somewhere in Time," like, it just kept playing and playing in the back of my head. Just kept going and going and going. Like, and I could say that for a lot of these songs. Like I kept hearing "Stranger in a Strange Land." Like, I just kept hearing that in the back of my head. I kept hearing the "So don't waste your time on this wasted year," or whatever. And man, like, this album, and and the other song that I was underrating is "The Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner." Man, the intro to that song, and let me segue that into really the whole album. This album probably has the best intros of all 6 albums I've heard so far. Like, every introduction to every song is so beautiful, so great, so catchy. Like, my probably my favorite intro from this album is probably "Long Distance Runner." Like, the way the guitars are like, wah, 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 wah. Like, it's just so beautiful, so mesmerizing, so gorgeous. Um And then, some of the ones that I kind of liked initially kind of like lost their position to the songs I really didn't enjoy as much the first time. Specifically, Heaven Can Wait. Heaven Can Wait as a whole is a fantastic song. All the songs are. But again, like I said in the reaction, the thing about Heaven Can Wait is I really, 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 really love the the chorus part, the like, the choir part thingy, and then the rest I like it, but I don't like it as much as that section. Whereas something like Cause Somewhere in Time, I equally enjoy the entire song. Like the whole thing, the solo, the intro, the singing, the chorus. I equally like everything. I equally think everything is a 10 out of 10. Whereas Heaven Can Wait, that little bridge part, the little choir part, I would say is a 10 out of 10, and then the rest of the song is like a 9 out of 10. You know what I mean? So I feel like because of that, Heaven Can Wait loses its spot in my enjoyment relative to the other songs, if that makes any sense to you guys. Same thing for something like Wasted Years. But even then in the reaction I didn't say that I like Wasted Years, but I feel like what carries the song is that little, like, would you call it a riff? What is that called? The like parts of Wasted Years that's like wah, 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 boom, dum, dum, wah, wah, wah. The parts that come before the verses. That's my favorite part of Wasted Years. I believe that would be called a riff. I don't know. You guys will let me know. You guys always correct me and give me nice information. And so Wasted Years, I really, really, really like that riff. And then the chorus is a little, I don't know what's the word to say because I might get like dogged on, but like for Wasted Years, the chorus is a little almost basic. Like it sounds like I've never really heard like rock and roll or stuff like that. Like I said, this is really my first time out of hip hop, but it just sounds like more poppy, more mainstream, more radio, more friendly. Like it just sounds poppy. I don't know if that's the correct word, but that's how it feels to me, the chorus for Wasted Years. But that isn't a bad thing necessarily. It's just that's not what entices me from Maiden. You know what I mean? That's not what I really enjoy from Maiden. When I'm looking for Maiden, I'm looking for some like disgusting solos, some great, well, when I'm talking about Bruce Maiden, some great like operatic creative singing, nice bass, that very fast bass, almost sounds like the pace of like that's how a lot of their, to me, I don't know if like I sound wrong or whatever, but a lot of their songs, they sound like that to me. Like they almost, a lot of them have that tempo like that, like I don't know if that would be correct or whatever, but that's just a feeling I get. But in terms of my favorite songs, nothing really changed. My top 3, I would still the only thing is the placing of Deja Vu and Stranger in a Strange Land change. I had Deja Vu as the number 1 favorite, but now my favorite song is Stranger in a Strange Land. That song is like just that like boom, boom, like that deep bass and like the dun 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 dun, like it just makes me feel like a badass. Like I could walk into a bar with shades on and like, who you gonna fuck with? You ain't fucking with me. I don't know. That song just makes me feel like a badass. And then like, I think one of Bruce's best vocal performances is in that song. The chorus, the like stranger in a strange land, like stranger in the, and the lyrics are beautiful too. Like it just sounds gorgeous. Like the trapped in a land of ice and snow. Like it just sounds beautiful, if that makes any sense. Like I like the words. I like the way the words are placed. It just sounds good. I mean, when I say like I like the words and I like the usage, I'm mainly coming at it from like a rapper's perspective of like, okay, I write lyrics. That's all I do. Quite literally, as a rapper, I'm only focused with writing lyrics. And, just half of one of my albums probably has more lyrics than Iron Maiden's entire discography. And I'm not even exaggerating. And so, when certain words and the way they're used, like Maiden loves using the word strange, and I've never really heard strange be used you know, in hip hop or like in other music. So it's like for me, it's like a unique and beautiful word, and it's like, why are you using that word? So for me, when I'm talking about the lyrics, like the words themselves, a lot of time it's just more like, that's an interesting word, or like, that's, I don't hear that often, if that makes any sense. And the way they word it is like poetic and just beautiful. It's, especially songs like Stranger in a Strange Land, is just the way Bruce sings them as well. It's very like beautiful. Like the I hear calling, in a strange new world, in a strange new world. Dun, 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 dun. All right, and then my second favorite is Deja Vu. I feel like the song is underrated. Like the comments were talking about Caught Somewhere in Time, the intro. They were talking about Alexander the Great, Loneliness, A Long Distance Runner. I don't think I've seen a single comment that mentioned Deja Vu as their favorites. Like, except for Sun and Steel. I know you mentioned it. But Deja Vu, it's, man, it's so uplifting. It's so inspirational. It's just gorgeous. I love the song. I love it. I love it. So, number one favorite song would be Stranger. Number two is Deja Vu. And my third favorite, it changes. This is good. This is a very good problem to have when it's hard to decide your favorite song. But today, as of recording this video, I'm going to say that my third favorite is Caught Somewhere in Time. When I first recorded it, I think I said Alexander the Great. But I might have to go back and say Caught Somewhere in Time is my third favorite. But this is one of those albums where, you know, if you say one of my least favorite ones is your favorite, shit, I might agree with you depending on the day. Like, again, and you know, hey, y'all been on me because of what I said about Peace of Mind, which I didn't even say nothing bad about it. Y'all niggas is just retorted. No, I'm playing. No, but like, this is an album where, like I said, if my least favorite song, you choose it as your favorite, on a good one, I might be like, you know what, that probably is my favorite too. Whereas something like Peace of Mind, if you say Still Life is your favorite, I'm not really seeing that. Like, how you gonna put Still Life above the Dune song, or I think it's called To Tame a Land, above Trooper, above Where Eagles Dare? Like, where is this rationale coming from? Whereas this album, I could genuinely see an argument for every song to be in the top three. Like, I'm like, yo. So with that being said, like, fuck, man, this might be top 3 Maiden albums I heard so far. Like, Power Slave, Somewhere in Time, they're in the top 3. And I don't know what the third one would be. Like, it would have to be between the self-titled and Killers. I don't think I could put Number on the Beast as number 3 or Peace of Mind. Because Peace of Mind has Still Life and the Fire one. Drawn by quest for fire. So I can't put it on the top 3 because it had some songs that were just cool. And then same thing with Number of the Bees. Like, Gangland, like, it's kind of forgettable, but it's not bad. Like, it's really fucking good. And like, shit. All right, you're hearing it now. My top 3 Maiden albums so far. So from 6 albums, number 1 is Power Slave. Number 2 is Somewhere in Time. Why? I don't know if it should be 2. And number 3 is Self-Titled, the first album. Bro, Phantom of the Opera, Transylvania, Running Free, Prowler, I'm actually not as much as a fan of Iron Maiden, the song, as much as I am on the rest of the album. Like, I prefer Prowler over Iron Maiden. I mean, obviously Iron Maiden's a classic and that's how they close out their albums, but I don't know, I just don't like it as much as something like Phantom of the Opera and stuff like that. But obviously I'm not saying it's a bad song. Like, I'm basically arguing that, oh, I prefer this 10 out of 10 over this 9.5. Like, you know, so for you people that get offended, like, oh my god, he doesn't like it as much as Phantom of the Opera. Like, bro, I still love it, bro. Like, it'd still be a highlight on someone else's album. Just shut your bitch ass up. With that being said, let me get into my thank yous for y'all. Thank you guys so much. Like, I have so much love for each and every one of y'all. Even the people who comment bullshit. Like, I still appreciate that you took time out of your day to see my thumbnail with my ugly ass face going. Click on it, watch a little bit of it, and then comment something pertinent. Is that how you pronounce it? Something pertinent to the video. You know, you could have just been a bot and just commented some stupid shit like "fuck you," but you guys, even the people who criticize, you guys at least comment something that's relevant to the video. But for you guys, bro, we smashed 100 subs. I wanted 100 subs by the end of the year. I got 100 subs in like 6 weeks. I don't know how long I've been doing this, but like, you know how crazy that is for me. Like, so I appreciate you guys so much. It's the only bad thing about the like 100 sub things is that, you know, kind of like with Beast over Hammersmith, the live after death reaction is gonna be a little bit delayed because I was kind of caught off guard. I thought I was gonna have more time to buy the merch and then, you know, have more time to film the videos or what have you. But you guys are the best. We have like 105 subscribers as of this video. The my best performing video is Power Slave with like 1.5 thousand views. You guys have been smashing the like. You guys been commenting. You know, you guys give me good recommendations. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and please continue commenting things and continue criticizing me, or you know, comment things that you like so I can continue down that path. You know, like if you prefer, you know, like if you like if I talk about the album cover real quick in the intro section, then let me know so that I could continue talking about the cover artwork, or if you don't like it, then let me know so I could just, you know, save everybody's time, because these videos get long. But yeah, again, thank you to you guys. You guys are the best. With that being said, let's get right into the video. All right, as usual, right before we get into the reaction, I want to just look at the cover real quick. Let's see. Iron Maiden, seventh son of a seventh son. Where are we at? Like some glaciers. What is that? Are those cracks in the water? Is that even water? Could this be one of those that pool from, fuck, I forgot what song it was. The pool where it's like you're not necessarily told whether it is water. I think it is Sea of Madness, maybe. Derek Riggs. I wanted to get rid of Eddie because I was getting sick of painting him. What? So I cut Eddie into bits so I would have less to paint. Is that a soul? Like what he has in his stomach, umbilical cord, heart thingy, whatever that thing is? Is that like someone reaching out? Like, what the hell? That's fucking weird. Cyborg Eddie is now in half in this Arctic landscape. A few more details were added. It's got the apple, which is the Garden of Eden stuff. Okay, that might spoil the album, so. Oh, I see that. I see the apple, though. Okay, I'm not going to read the rest. I'll read it on my own time. So, there's 8 songs. Let's see which of the... I'm going to pick 2 out of the 8 that I'm going to say I'm going to look out for just because of the title would sound cool. Let's see. We have Moonchild, Infinite Dreams, Can I Play With Madness, The Evil That Men Do, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, The Prophecy, The Clairvoyant, Only the Good Die Young. So, off the rip, I'm going to say the one I'm hyped for, which I'm about to listen to, is Moonchild. Because Child, Wrathchild, I'm pretty sure they have like 0 connection. But if y'all been keeping up, I love Wrathchild. And we got another, you know, basically intro song that has child in the title. I'm going to just say it's fucking tight. So Moonchild. And then the second one that I'm going to look out for would be... I want to say Seventh Son because that's the title track, but then that's too basic. I feel like that's a given. Like looking out for the title track, I've always done that. The Evil That Men Do sounds cool as well, and I think it has the most views. But so I'm gonna choose Moonchild and The Prophecy. The Prophecy because I just like prophets and all that type of stuff. Like it just sound like all that like mystical shit. It just sounds cool. So yeah, the cover is really interesting. I wonder why he's in the Arctic. I wonder what those things are. Those lamps, candles. What is that floating? Are those UFOs? What are those things floating? The cover's so weird. It's so cool. Okay, so I know that it's a concept album. You guys told me. And I think you guys said this is gonna use keyboards. Yes, I think it says it right here. So I think you guys told me that it uses keyboards as well. So I'm gonna be looking out for that. I don't think you guys told me any specific song to look out for. You guys just said I'm gonna enjoy the album. So with that being said, let's just get into the first song, Moonchild. Oh yeah, and another thing that hyped me about the title Moonchild is that I don't know if Kentaro Miura based it off the same thing Iron Maiden based it off of, but Moonchild is also the like little the son of Casca and Guts in Berserk. So are we dealing with the same themes? We'll see. So that's also why I'm hyped for it. Let's listen to Moonchild.
Deadly sins, 7 ways to win.
7 deadly sins.
7 holy paths to hell, and your trip begins. 7 downward slopes, 7 bloody hopes. 7
That's Bruce?
burning fires. 7 desires.
That's Bruce? Sounds so calm. That's Bruce? The build-up. The build-up. Holy shit.
Open the seventh seal. I count the heads of those unborn. Their cursed ones, I'll find them all.
He sounds.
You die by your own hand. As a suicide, you shall be. And passing away, you'll be so alone that soul will bleed to death. Moonchild, hear the midnight scream. Moonchild, open the seventh seal. Moonchild, you'll be mine soon, child. Moonchild, take my hand tonight.
The chorus is crazy. The guitar's like. Dun, 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 dun.
Take my hand tonight.
Alright, that was Moonchild track 1 from Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. What was the intro, Bruce? You guys will let me know, because that sounded so calm, so different. Especially when you, like, 7 deadly sins, and then he's like, I am he, the boneless one. Like, the way he's singing is, like, so demonic, so... The only bad thing about this album is, holy shit, it might be tough for me to break down, because, like, lyrically, because I'm not in tune with, like, the religious, Christianity, Satanism, all that type of shit. Like, I only have, like, a passing knowledge of it, because... I'm not religious. So it's gonna be interesting for me. So let's see. 7 deadly sins, 7 ways to win, 7 holy paths to hell, and your trip begins. 7 downward slopes, 7 bloodied hopes, 7 are your burning fires, 7 your desires. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. They wanted to start off the album with that. Let's see. The first words of this song as the first song of an album, and last words of the song are creating a framing device. Okay, so I am he, the bornless one, the fallen angel watching you. Babylon, the scarlet whore, I'll infiltrate your gratitude. Don't you dare to save your son. Kill him now, save the young ones. Be the mother of a birth strangled babe. Be the devil's own, Lucifer's my name. Okay, so I am he, and then Lucifer's my name. So is this the perspective of Satan? Is the 7th son of a 7th son Lucifer? Is Lucifer Satan? Let's click it. The bornless one refers to Lucifer, the fallen angel. Yes, he is the fallen angel, right? He tried to like disrespect God or whatever, or some shit like that. The whore of Babylon, yes. Oh, she's a deity in Crowley's pantheon. Crowley, is it Aleister Crowley or Aleister Crowley? I'm gonna just say Crowley. Oh, yes. So I know that the Babylon whore is lust and all that. Okay, so. Is he saying that he infiltrated, like he caused the Babylon whore, like he's the like the lust Lucifer creates the lust, you know, by influencing the scarlet whore? That's why he says, I'll infiltrate your gratitude. Lucifer urges the 7 sons' mother to let him die in the womb, so no one, God nor he, will have control over him. Oh, so don't you dare save your son, kill him now. Okay. Oh, that's why be the mother of a birth strangled babe. Okay, so the 7th son. Oh, okay, so Lucifer is reaching out to the 7th son, and the 7th son, his name is Moonchild. He's the Moonchild, right? That's why he's screaming out to in the chorus, calling him. That's why he's like, Moonchild, hear my scream. Well, Mandrake. Moonchild, open the 7th seal. So that's like chakras type shit, the gates, whatever you want to call them. That's why, and then that's why he elaborates with, you'll be mine soon, child. Take my hand. So does he fear the Moonchild? Does he fear what the 7th son could do? Is the 7th son Jesus Christ then? Let's see. I count the head of those unborn. The accursed ones, I'll find them all. And if you die by your own hand, as a suicide you shall be damned. So basically he's talking about hell, damnation, all this, right? Like, if you try to save your soul, I'm going to torment you. More like allusions to, well, I'm Lucifer. You'll be alone, your soul. So you're going to hell type shit. And, you know, and that's what he wants. Let's click this real quick. Even if the true nature of the narrator is already suggested in the first lines of the verse, it is only at the end of the same verse that he presents himself as Lucifer. Lucifer in Latin is lux, which is loose, you know, loose, light, ferro, bring. Hence the meaning of the name, the light bringer. He's associated with the morning star, Book of Babylon, due to the fact that Babylon is with sin and perdition. Let's say whatever. Moonchild, hear the mandrake scream. A mandrake is the root of a plant historically derived from the plants of the genus man, whatever. Because they contain hallucinogenics, they resemble human fingers, some shit like that. According to the legend, when the root is dug up, it screams and kills all those who hear it. Okay, so it's an exorcism to death. So, okay. Open the seventh seal. What is the seventh seal? And when he had opened the seventh seal, this is Revelations 8, 1 through 6. When he opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. And I saw the seven angels which stood before God. And to them were given seven trumpets. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having to go to whatever. And I heard the great voice. The opening of the seventh seal marks the second coming. Also, I knew it. I knew I was onto something. Even when my lack of knowledge, context clues. The opening of the seventh seal marks the second coming and the upcoming end of the world. It is theorized that the seventh son could be a second Messiah, foreshadowing Judgment Day. Hence the reference in the lyrics, 7 angels battle with 7 demons. That's tight. Okay. So when he says Moonchild, you'll be mine. So I was right. Lucifer plans to take control of the seventh son. If the mother gives life to the son, Satan will do everything to torment his life and twist his mind. Okay. So I knew it. The twins, they are exhausted, 7 in this night. Gemini is rising as the red lips kiss to bite. Gemini is obviously twins. So the twins, they are exhausted. It's the 7th night. So is this Sunday? Or would that be Saturday? Whatever. So either Sunday or Saturday. It's the 7th night, right? The twins. Which twins are we referring to? Was the Moonchild supposed to be a twin and one of them died? Gemini is rising as the red lips kiss to bite. Is the red lips the Babylon whore? Is it like temptation? Is it lust? Let's see. Gemini is falling, but as it is rising, the devil will send his daughter to the protagonist. I guess it spoiled the future song. 7 angels, 7 demons. We went for that. When Gabriel lies sleeping, this child was born to die. Gabriel is the angel that tells Virgin Mary, hey bitch, you're gonna have a kid, right? Oh no. He's the archangel, was tasked with communicating with the prophets of God. Okay, so Lucifer is plotting to kill the child. Okay, so while Gabriel sleeps, Lucifer is doing this song. He's trying to convince the mother to like kill him now and save the young ones and stuff like that. Okay, so while Gabriel is asleep, he's trying to do this song basically. One more dies, one more lies. It's interesting how they went from 7 to 1. Well, 7 to 2 twins, 7 still 7 angels, and then now we're solo. We're 1. 1 dies, 1 lives, 1 baby cries, 1 mother grieves. Oh, those are the twins then, huh? Because look, the twins, they are exhausted. 7 is the night. Twins, Gemini, 2. But then in verse 3, 1 dies and 1 more lives. So 1 twin dies and 1 lives. 1 baby cries, 1 mother grieves. Obviously, when a baby cries, that means it's living. You know, that's why sometimes back then they used to smack the ass cheeks or whatever, so they can make sure it's breathing and shit. And then the mother's grieving because one of them died, right? Or for all the sins you will commit, you'll beg forgiveness and none I'll give. Okay, so is this foreshadowing or he wants them to commit sins? Let's see. The mother's made a choice. She will give birth to her son, the 7th son. As he cries after his birth, all babies do upon their first breath. The mother's wondering if it was the right choice. She fears her son will not have a normal life. Well, of course, bro. It's the 7th son. Lucifer himself is speaking now. He curses the newborn child. Okay, so he's... A web of fear shall be your coat to clothe you in the night. A lucky escape for you, young man. But I see you damned in endless night. So he's just cursing that nigga. The ahahahas were good too. Moonchild is loosely based on Aleister Crowley's novel of the same name. It is the first that introduced the use of keyboards, lyrics within the concept of the album. The devil addresses the parents of the 7th son, particularly the mom, and warns them their resistance is futile. Okay, interesting. So this is a fight between basically Virgin Mary 2.0 and Satan and Lucifer, right? Is Satan and Lucifer? I'm gonna just go off and just say they're both. Like, so Lucifer, is trying to convince, maybe out of fear, maybe out of like, oh, he's seen the prophecy, you know, like that cliche where it's like, the prophecy told me that he would grow up to destroy me, but the paranoia of the prophecy makes the prophecy come true. Is this what we're headed? Is this the type of situation? Is this what started that fucking that cliche? Okay, so that's interesting lyrically. Musically, oh, my favorite part was the Moonchild, the magic screen, like the guitar things were like, oh, it was crazy. And it had a lot of, now we're introducing a lot of different elements. Like, this sounded different than any other Iron Maiden album so far. Like, the intro was super calm, like it had no rasp. I don't think it had any instruments either, the intro. So it was like an acapella type. Sure, maybe it did, or maybe it did, but I'd be forgetting. We had a pretty long intro, and then the demonic verses, and this song was tight. I'm gonna have to listen to it more because of how intricate it is. Because this song has a lot going for it. Like the intro, I was stuck on the intro. Like, okay, like what does it mean? But then at the same time, now the verses, there's a lot of lyrics now. Just how I was saying, they don't really have a lot of lyrics, but this song does. And it's a lot to take in because it's super religious, super satanic, super holy, all these kind of things. Stuff that, one, I'm not a big fan of, and two, it's something that I don't really know like that, if that makes any sense. So trying to take in that, and then the instrumentals and what they're doing, it was a lot to take in. So this is one of the ones where I have to listen to it more, not because I didn't enjoy it, but so I can enjoy it way more, if that makes any sense. Let's keep going. This is a good intro. This was just an intro. Now let's see where the story goes. Alright, we're headed to track 2, Infinite Dreams, which sounds tight. It just sounds cool. Infinite Tsukuyomi. Okay, so the child is born and he's cursed, or at least Lucifer tells him. Or will it be a Pulp Fiction situation where the story's out of place?
Infinite dreams, I can't deny them. Infinity is hard to comprehend.
Is that Bruce?
I could hear those screams.
This is so calm.
My wildest dreams. Suffocation, waking in a sweat. Scared to fall asleep again in case the dream begins again.
Is he having dreams like revelations?
That's you.
This is the dream, right?
What a dream! Where will it end? And will I transcend? Restless sleep, the mind's in turmoil. One nightmare ends, another fertile. It's getting to me.
It's so
Scared to sleep,
different, the
but
sound.
scared to wake now. In too deep. Even though it's reached new heights, I really like the restless nights. It makes me wonder, makes me think there's more to this. I'm on the brink. It's not the fear of what's beyond. It's just that I might not respond. I have an interest, almost craving. Would I like to get too far ahead? Can
This reminds me of a couple of the other songs. This almost sounds like Lost for Words. This is the Bruce sound that's like I'm used to. Now it got to that Iron Maiden like. The drums, the bass.
Another time, I'm to return and live again. Reincarnate, play the game again and again and again and again.
I hear the keyboard. I was able to distinctively pick it on the last seconds. It almost reminded me of an organ a little bit. Okay, strictly the sonics of the singing. Let's just say that the lyrics are just gibberish. Let's just go off the fact that let's just assume that the lyrics are you can't understand them. They're a language that nobody speaks on earth, right? If we just ignore the actual words being said, the actual progression of the sonics of the verses and Bruce's singing is masterful, genius, fucking mind-boggling. That's the true mark of like one, a great singer, and two, great songwriting, because it starts off with that the intro to Moonchild's voice, like that unaltered Bruce stuff where it almost sounds like just regular or like, right, this is the calmest he's at, like, and then we hear him pick up the pace and he's getting more paranoid, more scared, more, just paranoid, and then he starts yelling, and it all climaxes with the that in the middle of the song, and then now it's less raspy and more operatic by the second half of the song. So now it's more, which goes good with the sounds of the instrumental breaks, where it's like we kind of went from paranoia, distress, and fear to eventually our mind broke, but then now there's kind of like begging for help, wanting to find a true self. There's got to be more than this, combined with those lyrics and the tone of the way Bruce is singing with like his operatic usual voice I'm used to, combined with the instrumental. It has like a almost like hopeful, like, hey, the infinite dreams, the nightmares, they've subsided, at least for now. And if they didn't, then maybe there's more than this. Now there's hope and optimism. Maybe there's more to life. Maybe I'm about to be saved from within the torture and my dreams, and maybe when I reincarnate again and again, maybe life will be easier. Maybe the dreams stop, if that makes any sense. Just sonically, the way the song progresses is insane, and the way we go from like a very, honestly, a different sounding band back to like what I remember from Maiden. Because like, I might catch flack for this, but like, it's a little hard to appreciate so far, like the calmer, more acoustic moments, because it's so jarringly different from everything else. So far, the first half of this song and little parts of Moonchild, we're taking it all the way back to kind of like an acoustic version of like Strange World from the first album. Like, but then at the same time, it's building up to eventually be the Iron Maiden that I grew accustomed to. I'm not saying that I prefer it. I'm just saying that's what I'm comfortable with, because that's all I know. I only know the instrumental break part of Iron Maiden. Like I said, we've had few moments where it's quiet, a little bit like Still Life, and really Still Life and I just said Strange World. Just those two songs are really the only ones where I'd say it's like the whole song is calm, and really the only song, the whole song that's really quiet and subdued is Strange World. Because even stuff like Remember Tomorrow, it picks up the tempo eventually and stuff. So it's interesting that we're kind of, so far it's reminding me of those type of songs like Revelations, Remember Tomorrow, Still Life, because like we got a lot of more quiet, subdued acoustics, and just the tempo's a little slower, and then eventually it culminates into like the screaming operatic brews. The guitars are going in, the faster tempo switches. So I feel, I'm gonna just say now, I'm pretty sure the whole album, if it continues this sound, it's gonna be an album that I'm gonna have to listen to a lot more so than any other Maiden album, because I'm not saying I don't like the softer sound, but it's very different than what I'm used to from Maiden. And keep in mind, all I really know from rock is Maiden. And so for me, this is jarring because, you know, Phantom of the Opera, Transylvania, Prowler, you know, Running Free, you know, I could go on, you know, Hallowed Be Thy Name. Like, most of their discography, like, I would say 80 to 90% of their discography has been, like, breakneck speed, or at least much quicker than this, has been. So it's very, like, different, especially coming off of Caught Somewhere in Time, where, like, Caught Somewhere in Time had a lot of quick moments, especially with like Stranger in a Strange Land and stuff like that, and it had a more like stadium feel, and this feels very personal. And I guess it makes sense with the, so far with what we have of the album, that it's more religious, it's about the seventh son, and it makes sense that the seventh son is dealing with, I'm assuming, his dreams and all that. He's kind of getting visions of revelation. It's kind of like how Satan says you're gonna be in a web of trauma type shit, or whatever, Lucifer. So, you know, we're just going through his suffering, maybe like the burden of being the one, if that makes sense. You know, the burden of being who I assume you're, the prophet, you know? So it's very interesting in terms of that. Lyrically, there's not much to break down, because it's really explicit. Like, he's just basically saying like, yo, I got a heavy burden on me, you know? This song about someone who's tormented by paranormal dreams and nightmares. He seems to have clairvoyant powers, but he's scared by what he sees in his visions. This man in the song is the father of the album's. So he's the father? How do you guys know he's the father? Where does it say he's the father of the seventh son? I thought the mother already gave birth to him. Wait, what do you mean? He is convinced there's got to be an afterlife. He thinks there's a... Evident in the repetition of the last line, the same anxiety that inflicts the seventh son's father. Wait, where in the lyrics do we find out he's the dad? Infinite dreams, infinity, I couldn't hear those screams, suffocation, someone's dream. Or maybe... I thought this was the seventh son saying that, like, that he has paranormal visions and stuff. Like, I thought this was the seventh son. If it is the father, it makes sense too. Okay, so the mother is burdened with being harassed by Satan, by Lucifer, to do, you know, kill her son, you know, damn her soul, and not to give birth to him. But at the end, she does decide. And then but where does that leave the father? So maybe the father's, like, torment is he can see the future. He has future sight type shit, and it's stressing him out. And maybe he was influenced, and this is all completely conjecture. This literally has nothing to do with the lyrics, but maybe if it is the father, maybe the father is a vessel being controlled by Lucifer. Like, hey, I'm Lucifer. I'm going to send these visions to the father so that hopefully I scare the father enough to try to convince the mother to kill the baby. Does that make sense? And, you know, it's usually the guy that asks for abortion. I'm going to just say that. But another interesting song. Just interesting. I think that's what I'm going to say about this album. Just interesting. It wasn't like every song had to be about it. Infinite Dreams isn't totally in line. It could be, but it didn't have to be. We didn't want it to be where you can't write about anything else, but we were trying to keep a thread going through it. Okay, so Steve Harris himself has said that low-key, like, and this is what I've said about a couple of my songs too, like, and I guess this is what they're saying about me in general. Like, I feel like that quote is about people like me, where it's like, you could make it, you could connect it to other songs on the album. It wasn't necessarily intended to be like that, but it's just a happy accident. And I think subconsciously, real quick, as like a writer, I think subconsciously as a writer, when you're creating an album, you kind of connect the threads in a subconscious fashion. Like, you might make an album called Power Slave and every song might be completely different, but there are little elements that you might have subconsciously remember, like, oh, you know, oh, I wrote about what is Power Slave, so now let me make a song called, you know, 2 Minutes to Midnight, which deals with higher powers, you know, like the world government and the manufacturing of guns and stuff like that. And that gives people a sense of power, you know, the power to kill, the power to shoot, to maim. Anyway, but so I feel like that's what Steve Harris is like. He's like, look, we wrote the song, you know, we're in that mood. We're in Seventh Son of a Seventh Son creative process. What comes out of that is more or less gonna be connected to the rest of the songs, not because we intentionally made it, but just that's our mood, that's our feeling, that's the vibe we're in right now. You know, like if I'm making when I'm making my albums, let's say like when I make my album like Glass God, a lot of the songs are gonna be connected even if I don't intend it to, because I'm in the mind state of making an album about cooking crack. You know what I mean? Oh, crystal meth. But so I get what Steve Harris is saying. Okay, but as I said, I kind of like my theory that either this is the Moonchild, the Seventh Son, whatever you want to call them, having, you know, paranormal visions, or this is the father being used by Lucifer to try to convince the mother. But I don't like that one as much because there's no indication that he ends up talking to the mother, or maybe he does in the next song. Let's keep going, because I guess if you use the title "Can I Play with Madness," maybe by this point whoever's having the infinite dreams, they're kind of going mad, right? Let's keep going. This is interesting. All right, track 3, Can I Play with Madness. See, this is the hard maiden that I know. His vocal performance throughout this whole album. The way he's able to go hot in the middle singing. This nigga's cursing him.
And then he fixed me with a freezing glance, and the hellfire's raged in his eyes. He said, "You want to know the truth, son? Lord, I'll tell you the truth. Your soul's gonna burn in a lake of fire."
So the Seventh Son is doing for shit.
Can I play with madness? The prophet stared at his crystal ball. Can I play with madness? There's no vision there.
like the way the drums are going through.
Listen to me, said the prophet.
What is that?
Can I play with madness?
That was crazy.
Can I play with madness? There's no vision there at all. Can I play with too blind to see? Can I play with madness?
I like the way it ended, like with the heavy reverb and the "Can I play with madness?" We didn't even have the like stereotypical psh, 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 tss. Okay, so the sound of this song reminds me of Wasted Years. It kind of has that more like upbeat, kind of poppy-ish sound, especially with the chorus with like the "Can I play with madness? The prophets didn't restore." Okay, so I feel like the second song with the Infinite Dreams has to be the Seventh Son then, because if we're continuing on, let's just assume that the narrative is linear. Let's assume that song 1 is the beginning and song 8 is the end, right? Like it goes in a linear fashion. If we're assuming that, then who else would play with madness? Who else is gonna be the Son? He says it explicitly. You want to know the truth, son? Then Lord, I'll tell you the truth. Now we could probably say that maybe he's saying Lord as like a, well, shit, Lord, let me tell you the truth. They're like, shit, let me tell you the truth. Maybe he's using it in that fashion. Or we could take it as, you want to know the truth, son? Lord. And he's referring to him as Lord. And if we take it as that interpretation, as the old man is telling the son, like he's calling him Lord, then that's as explicit as it gets that it is the seventh son. And obviously, you know, the line after that tells us it's the seventh son, because it's the prophecy that Lucifer said unto the son, saying that he's gonna suffer, and obviously like your soul's gonna burn in a lake of fire. Okay, so give me the sense to wonder if I'm free. Give me wonder. So he wants to know. He's asking, can I play with madness? Maybe he wants to flirt with the opposite of what he was designed for. Because let's think about it like this, right? Let's just assume the seventh son was born to be like, you know, the second coming of Christ, right? If he was born to be the second coming of Christ, and then Lucifer wants to prevent that because he's scared that he might lose the coming war or what have you, then you would imagine that your whole life you've had, you know, infinite dreams, and you've had visions, and you've been told, like, you've been protected and coddled your entire life, like, yo, this is the future, we need to, you know, control the son because he's gonna be pivotal for the future, right? So you would imagine that someone who's been coddled his whole life, almost like the avatar almost like Korra from the Legend of Korra, you would imagine that they want to wonder, they want to be free. They're like, yo, I've been told my whole life that I'm the seventh son, and that I'm going to do this and this, that, and the third. But no one's ever gave me the chance to play with madness. No one's ever let me make my own decisions. So you know what? I'm going to go play with madness. I'm going to ask the prophet, what does he see? But he doesn't see anything. And maybe he doesn't see anything with me because maybe he's scared to tell me that I'm gonna burn in hell. You know, maybe the prophet didn't want to tell him. Maybe he did see something in the crystal ball, but he just didn't tell him because he didn't want to, like, you know, tell him that his soul was gonna burn in hell. Let's click the chorus. Finding prophecies is madness because only a handful of people would supposedly be able to do so. Prophets are usually phonies. The future reserves might be something bad. Hence the prophet laughing. I don't really like that interpretation that it's supposed to be that prophets are phonies. No, I think I think I think he's withholding information, and that's why he laughs, because he's like, you're too blind to see. So maybe he's telling them like, yo, the path you're on of that you want to wonder and play with madness, you're too blind to see that it's gonna lead you to your soul burning in a lake of fire. Does that make sense, guys? You guys get what I'm saying? So damn, I know what you guys were saying now. Lyrically, there's a lot for me to eat here. There's a lot for me to break down, but it's not too complicated. Like it's not like something like Remember Tomorrow or Strange World, where it's like very poetic and it's like, okay, what does this even mean, right? This one, I'm pretty sure they have clear-cut meanings. It's just, you know, covered in poeticism and a little bit of, you know, just lyrical magic, basically. Sonically, as I said, this is probably my least favorite so far from the 3 from the 8 that the 3 out of the 3 that I've heard, just because it has a more like, how do I say it, like radio friendly sound, if that would make any sense. I don't know if that's like the correct word to use, but I really, can you guys tell me who was that? Was that Dave Murray or Adrian Smith, who was like that little pause in the solo where it's like it paused for a quick second, then like some like crazy guitar noise thingy was like at the front and center. That shit was crazy. Like, it's like stuff like that that's so creative and genius, and it does so much to break the monotony, right? Because much of this song is the chorus, like really, you know, like a lot of this song is the chorus, so you need like genius variation beyond just the solo. Now you need to introduce something like that little break that I was talking about. Can someone tell me who did that break? That was It only lasted like 2 seconds, but it was gorgeous. So let's see. Published as the first single, the seventh son confronts the prophet to learn what's happening with the pending birth of his seventh son. Oh, I get it. No wonder. Oh, I'm so dumb. So it is the father. The seventh son of a seventh son means that. Oh, okay. So in Infinite Dreams, it's the seventh son. And then the Moonchild is going to be the seventh son of the seventh son inside of Infinite Dreams. So the father is a seventh son, but he's going to have a seventh son. Now, whether that be literally or metaphorically, we don't know. Is that what it is? Is he a seventh son that's going to have a seventh son? Or is he already the seventh son, like the perspective? It's probably confusing. It probably don't make any sense to y'all. Okay, so the seventh son confronts the prophet to learn what's happening with the pending birth of his seventh son. The prophet is unhinged and isn't forthcoming with answers. According to Adrian Smith, this started life as a ballad I had been working on called On the Wings of Eagles. Then Bruce had a verse for it but wanted to change the title to Can I Play with Madness? I must admit, it did sound better that way, so we took that one and Steve liked it too. It was Steve who came up with the time change in the middle and the instrumental passages, which again gave it that lift it needed. Okay, so that little break thingy was Steve Harris. I'm pretty sure he's not the one who played it because he's the bass, right? But he had the idea for it. Okay, bro, Steve, you're a genius. I think if it wasn't for the change in the middle and the instrumental passage, which Adrian Smith said it gave it that lift it needed, I think he's correct. I think without that, the song would have been too basic. It would have been beyond basic for Iron Maiden. But I think that did give it the lift it needed. So even they know. Interesting. I had the chorus, chords, and the melody. Bruce added the verse and suggested speeding it. Later on, we actually rehearsed the song Steve came up. Later on, when we rehearsed the song, Steve came up with the instrumental section. Such geniuses, and the way they're able to collab with each other is so organic and so beautiful to see. Like how, hey, you got this part, I got this part. Oh, we're doing both parts together. Well, hey, let's add this. It's such a natural form of creating music. But obviously it makes sense because they're a band, you know. So I would expect that they have, you know, fucking what's this shit called? I would expect that they have like good chemistry. Okay, so that was interesting. Okay, so now I'm gonna try to think about the album as, okay, maybe we're in the perspective of the first seventh son, which would be the father of the second seventh son. But would the first seventh son be Jesus Christ and the second seventh son be the second coming? Well, not Jesus Christ necessarily, but It's so interesting. Wow, I didn't even think about that. Like, it's true. Like, I was like, what is the seventh son of a seventh son? I assumed that the second seventh son was the one being born in Moonchild, but perhaps it was the first seventh son, and then we have a second birth, or it could be that it is the second seventh son being born in Moonchild, and right now we're getting the perspective of the first seventh son, which would be the father. Interesting, interesting. Let's keep going. Halfway through the album, we're track 4, The Evil That Men Do. Oh, that guitar is beautiful. Or is that a bass? The drums.
Love is a razor and I walk the line and that silver pray for her. I will call her name out loud. I will bleed for her. If I could only see her now. Living on a razor's edge, bouncing on a ledge. Living on a razor's edge, bouncing on a ledge. You know.
Bruce's vocal range. Gorgeous. Oh, yeah. Oh, like I said, oh my god, I love that that they keep progressing with their outros. So now it's like we got just a quick with the drums accentuating that, like the evil, the evil. This song is my favorite one so far. I love the chorus, the way he says evil, the evil that men do lives on and on. Oh my goodness. Damn, I kind of like didn't even focus on the lyrics, but there isn't much lyrics anyways to talk about. Like it's a lot of repetition, but oh my goodness. The solo here was heavenly. The chorus was gorgeous. I didn't really care for how Bruce sings the pre-chorus, the "Living on a Razor's Edge," but I love the backing, like the long drawn out guitar in the background in that section. This song was great. Oh, this song was just gorgeous. And it didn't even feel that long. How long was it? Oh, it didn't even feel like 4 minutes. Oh, it felt like a 2-minute track in the best way possible. This song was so good. This song was so good. Oh my goodness. That was much needed, like injection of energy, because we've been picking up the progression with Moonchild and Infinite Dream, and Can I Play with Madness. So now, and it makes sense that a song titled "The Evil That Men Do" would bring up the pace. Okay, so let's see. Love is a razor, and I walk the line on that silver blade. That's tight. That just sounds poetic. Some might say that sounds a little edgy or like kind of corny, but I like it. Slept in the dust with his daughter, her eyes red with the slaughter of innocence. So dust, eyes red, daughter. Are we talking about smoking, or maybe he's talking about like he's influencing her, and now she's seeing red like death? You know, slaughter, like the death of her innocence, right? Slaughter of her innocence, death of her innocence. Her eyes red. When you see red, oh, all I see is red, which is death. I pray for her. I will call out her name loud. I would bleed for her if only I could see. Now, who is I? This isn't Lucifer, because Lucifer doesn't pray. Lucifer wanted her to suffer, right? But slept in the dust with his daughter. Let's keep going. Living on a razor's edge, balancing on a ledge, living on a razor's edge. So if we take that, you know, we could take the chorus as like, which let's just say, whether it's the first seventh son or the seventh son, let's just say the father and the son, okay? So the first seventh son is the father's, second seventh son, I'm gonna say the son, okay? All right, we got that. So if we take it as the perspective of a father, maybe he's like trying to balance, you know, raising a son that you know is the prophet, or you know will be touched by Lucifer at some point, or everyone tells you he will. But if we take it as a perspective of the son, then maybe the son's like, damn, like I got the weight of the world on my shoulder. Like everyone's telling me that Lucifer's gonna, you know, even the old man in the previous songs telling me like, yo, my soul is gonna burn, and so I'm on the razor's edge. I have to balance, and you know, the evil that men do could be that balancing act. You have to balance, like there's so much evil in the world, and I have to balance it. Like I have to be, maybe I have to balance it and by saving them, or maybe I have to balance it by not falling into the inequities of man, if that makes any sense. Circle of fire, my baptism of joy at an end, it seems. Okay, so he was baptized not with fire, but there's fire there. And fire, usually we're talking about Satan here. The seventh lamb slain, the book of life opens before me. The book of life in Christian and Jewish is a book in which God has written the names of those who are saved. Okay, so with his baptism, he is saved. I'm gonna pray for you. Someday I may return. Don't cry for me. Be honest where I may learn. So when he's saying return, you know, obviously the second coming, the return. Let's click it. The father may now refer to his wife. Since he has been seduced by the devil's daughter, he considers himself a traitor. Wait, where did the devil's daughter come from? Oh, I get it. Oh, so when he's talking about, okay, so when he's saying slept in the dust, but what's the dust? So when he's saying slept with his daughter, his is Lucifer. And I'm going to pray for her. I'm going to call her name, and I would bleed for her if only I could see her now. So he's fiending for some devil pussy, huh? For some dussy. No, like, the devil failed to convince the seventh son to kill the child in the womb, and is now trying to bring sadness to her by sending his daughter to fuck the father. The line may be about the slaughter of innocents, may refer to sleeping with the devil's daughter and taking her virginity. I see where you're coming from. The devil's plan succeeds as the father, who is the I, falls in love with the woman. Yes, I caught that. He'll do anything for her. So the concept. Oh, so this is a love song and how dangerous love can be in a way. It's, you have to walk on a razor's edge. You have to balance the love, right? In a certain way, it can be seen like that. Okay, so I was definitely onto something then when I was saying that. The infinite dreams is probably like Lucifer sending, fucked up paranormal visions to the father in hopes that like it sways him, which, well, lo and behold, it worked because he fucked the daughter. Interesting. Interesting. The evil that men do lives on and on. Okay, so they don't break it down. Okay, so, well, the evil that men do, we know that adultery and cheating on your wife and all, we know that's a sin. We know that. So obviously, if we're talking about fucking the devil's daughter, then obviously that's a huge no. What is the seventh lamb? When the lamb has opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space. We had a line in Moonchild referring to the opening of the seventh seal. So now the seventh seal is being opened, which marks the second coming. Okay. Okay. So, okay. So, it is the father. So the son, the seventh son hasn't been born yet. If anything, I get it. Hopefully the next song completes my thought. I get it. So the first 4 tracks are the father and the mother, the parents, right? Specifically, track 1 really is the only one about the mom. Okay, so in the first 4 tracks, we're getting the trials and tribulation of being the parents of the son, the 7th son. And the title track, what do you know? The song that comes right after the slaughtering of the lamb, or the 7th lamb being slain, which indicates the second coming, just so happens to be right before 7th son of a 7th son, meaning within this song, the lamb was slain, meaning the second coming is happening, and the second coming is the next track. Ooh, interesting. The title of the song is taken from Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, specifically by Marcus Antonio. He speaks to a crowd of Romans. Bruce has quoted this line. The actual theme of the song doesn't have anything to do with the play. The lyrics continue the album story about the 7th son of a 7th son who is about to be born. Okay, correct. So I am on the correct path. Both God and Satan want to have control over the child, but who will one day possess great powers. Okay. What have the artists said about this song? This is about our protagonist losing his virginity. Unfortunately, he loses it to Lucifer, who comes to him in the guise of a temptress. Oh, so it's not even his daughter. It's just like, that's gross. So he was fucking the devil. He basically gets date raped by Lucifer. What's that going to do to your average adolescent brain? Average adolescent. But what Bruce is saying himself about the song contradicts what me and everyone else on Genius is saying, because the song sounds like the 7th son hasn't been born yet, but Bruce himself is saying that it's the protagonist losing his virginity, and he specifically says adolescent. I would assume that the father is not an adolescent, and I would assume he's not the protagonist, considering he's not the 7th son of a 7th son. He's just the 7th son, but he doesn't happen to be the 7th son of a 7th son. So maybe it is what I was saying, that he was born in Moonchild. Infinite Dreams is the son's paranormal visions. Can I Play with Man is him, wanting freedom, then, whatever. And the evil that men do is him losing his virginity to Lucifer, which probably condemns his soul, just how he was told in the last song. So, interesting how you could both perfectly apply. So I was onto something the first time. Interesting. This is such an interesting album. Let's keep going. Alright, we're entering the back half of the album with a long ass song called 7th Son of the 7th Son. It's damn near 10 minutes. Is this the second longest behind Rhyme of America? Sounds like cathedral, it's like holy. Like I don't know if those are guitars or that people are. Oh, you know what I mean?
Here they stand, brothers them all the sons divided they fall. Here awaits the birth of the sun, the seventh, the heavenly.
Okay, so it is his birth. Fucking crazy.
Hear the birth from an unbroken line. Born the healer, the seventh is time. Unknowingly blessed, and as his life unfolds, slowly unveiling the power he holds. Seventh son of a seventh son, 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 seventh son of a seventh son.
His vocal performance. He sounds so heavenly.
Then they watch the progress he makes, the good and the evil. Which path will he take? Both of them trying to manipulate the use of his powers before it's too late. Seventh son of a seventh son, 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 seventh son of a
It's like the most basic you can get in terms of lyrics, like the chorus, but it's just epic. I love the build-ups. It always stays on. Interesting how they build up just to go like, quiet. Interesting. They build up to another build-up. This reminds me of the quiet part of Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
Today is born the seventh one, born of woman the seventh son, and he in turn of a seventh son. He has the power to heal.
I love the Power Slave
He
voice.
has the gift of the
He
second
has the
son.
gift of the second sight.
He is the chosen one. So it shall be written.
It was written.
So it shall be done.
The like choir operatic. Oh. I love how subdued the guitars are. They're just in each ear. Dun, 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 dun. The drums are putting in overtime in this song. Steve Nico, you're the MVP. No. Nico McBrain. Is it? Nico McBrain. Is it? I don't know. I hear the keyboards. Sounds like a fucking Final Fantasy Kingdom Hearts song. The keyboard, they give it that like holy feeling. The bass. Another banger. Holy shit. That was definitely worth all 10 minutes. That shit. Oh my goodness. Lyrically, come on. I don't gotta tell y'all much because it's as explicit as it gets. Like it's very obvious. There's nothing really to break down. Like there's no interpretation. It is what it is. The only thing I could interpret that I could tell you like personally would be if what Bruce said is, well, obviously it's correct because he said it, but if what Bruce said about the evil that men do, that it's the protagonist, which I would assume would be the seventh son of a seventh son, if it's the protagonist losing his virginity, then maybe this song, timeline wise, maybe this album doesn't flow linearly. Maybe Seventh Son, like chronologically, is the second song, because Moonchild definitely is the first song, because he's not even born yet. He's being, told to die. He's being told to basically be aborted, and then Seventh Son is his birth. And if the evil that men do is his loss of virginity and adolescence, that means it has to come after his birth. It just has to, obviously. But him being curious about his future and can he play with madness and his dreams, that has to come after his birth as well, because if not, how would he have those dreams and how would he have that curiosity about, can I play with madness? So if we're going by Bruce, that the protagonist is the seventh son of a seventh son, and then this has to be the second song chronologically, and this is out of place. Like, it's like some like Pulp Fiction type shit. But if we go that this is the father's story, and the father was tempted by the devil, but if the father's tempted by the devil, that so far from 5 songs in, that does nothing in terms of the story. If the father's tempted by the devil, what does it do to us? What does it do to the story? Because he obviously couldn't sway the mother into having an abortion or whatever, killing, birth babe, whatever word they use. So he obviously, him being swayed by the devil, if it was the father, it does nothing. But if the seventh son of a seventh son is tempted by the devil, then perhaps that leads us into the next song, which would be the prophecy, and the prophecy foretold by Lucifer, that and the old man in Can I Play With Madness, that the seventh son's soul will be burning in a lake of fire and that he'll suffer. Interesting. So that's those are my 2 interpretations. If we go by the father, then I feel like it doesn't make sense. But at the same time, if we go that seventh son of a seventh son, it has to be the second track then, like chronologically. But if we do that, then it's kind of weird that every other song kind of like flows together perfectly sequenced, but they just throw the second event as the 5th event, if that makes any sense. So that's the only thing that goes against the theory that the seventh son is, that this song is the second one. That's the only thing that goes against it. The birth of the prophesied one, the chosen one. The song and album in general was influenced by Seventh Son, Book 1 of the Tales of Alvin Maker. Seventh Son. Her husband is also a seventh son. How much power he can have. What have the artist said, Steve Harris? It could be 4 or 5 songs. There are so many different parts. I didn't realize it was as long as it was until after. It felt like 6 or 7 minutes. It ended up being 10. I get what you're saying, Steve, but I feel like, although I like the whole song, I feel like it did feel like 10 minutes. Which isn't a bad thing. Like, I know some, like in the previous song I said, it didn't feel like how long it felt, but I feel like this one, it felt like it's time, mainly because we had long sections of Nico McBrain just going so it had long drawn out section. Drawn out doesn't mean bad, that it's just long. Bruce, when Steve played me Seventh Son, I was in seventh heaven. Wow, something to really get your teeth into. Bruce said it best. This feels heavenly. This takes you otherworldly. This transcends music type shit. Like, this makes you feel like the birth of a seventh son of a seventh son. Seventh son of a seventh son. Like, I really like the interlude. I just love his power slave voice. His witch whatever voice. Like, I don't really like how they say, where's it at? I don't really like this part, the unknowingly blessed as his life unfolds, slowly unveiling the power he holds. I thought it was known that he's blessed. Like, that's the whole reason why Lucifer even talks to the parents and tries to sway them to abort the baby, because he's going to be blessed. So that's the one thing I didn't understand. Or maybe maybe he is unknowingly blessed. Maybe it's like a Superman situation where like the parents know, but the actual seventh son doesn't know the power he holds. Does that make sense? Another great song. This is my second favorite after the Evil That Men Do. My second favorite so far is Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. So now we're heading to the last three tracks with the prophecy. Let's keep going. 6, the prophecy. This one should be interesting based off the title. 5 minutes. That's such a beautiful intro. I like how it starts in the right but finishes and lingers in the left. That was such a great intro. One of the best intros.
Now that I know that the right time has come, my prediction will surely be true. The impending disaster is looming, and the whole of the village is doomed. Why won't you listen to me? Is it so hard to understand that I am the real seventh son? Your life will never be defense. I've heard the cry of the seven whispers. Lucifer smiles. I'll take the air, laughing maidens. You fade the air, fortunes in my vision. Heed what I say, and you'll see what will be. Please listen to me.
I like how desperate the guitar is now. And the bass.
Now that they see the disaster is done, now they put all the blame onto me. They fear I brought down a curse. Now they know that the torment it stays with me, knowing that I walk alone. Through the eyes of the future I see, they don't even know what fear is. Now they know I'm the one who is cursed. Undercover and seven whispers again. I have their lives in my hands. Their faith, their fortunes in my vision. No one believed in my true prophecy, and now it's too late.
As Lucifer is painting himself as the good guy? Oh my god. The way it fades in and out to this acoustic part. See, like, this is drastically different than anything they've ever done. Oh, it's so gorgeous. Dun, dun, dun. Ah, that's like gorgeous. Ah, the intro and outro. This was such a gorgeous song, and it had such a different feeling and sound to the rest of their like the other six albums. This whole album in general just sounds so different compared to what they've done, and it's so, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but it's so jarring to hear, beautiful slow acoustics as opposed to something that's so aggressive, like stuff like Where Ego Is There, and Hollow Be Thy Name, stuff like that, where it sounds super, I don't know what the word is, but like super metal, like just boom, whereas this, we have that, but like in little pepper elements, and it's strung throughout elements where the intro and outro with beautiful acoustic sections and wildly different singing. That's almost every track has that like Power Slave Witch Bruce Dickinson voice. Now that I know that the right time has come, my prediction will surely be true. The impending disaster looms and the whole of the village is doomed. Okay, so is the perspective Lucifer or the sun? Because it says it's the sun. I just clicked. Why won't you listen to me? I'm the real seventh son. Your life. So is he begging to the people, the village? Yeah. So he's begging to the village that like, yo. He's almost like a boy cry wolf situation, right? I love my favorite part beyond besides the acoustic sections was the pre-chorus. Oh my goodness. I love whenever you have like a chorus or a part in a song where you're talking to yourself, or like you're completing the other half of the line, like how the left side was like suffer and pain, and then the right was impending disaster, souls crying, the devil's laughter. So obviously the prophecy and the pre-chorus, we're talking about what happened in the infinite dreams and the curses and all that Moonchild, like, oh, you're gonna suffer all that, and like the Can I Play With Madness, how it's like telling like how the old man is laughing, like he doesn't really want to tell him, but that this is gonna happen, right? So the seventh son is born, and disasters happening, doom, doomsday clock type situation, and then but they're not really hearing him. What he said, I'll take your life in my hands, your fate, your fortunes in my vision. Heed what I say, and you'll see what will be. Please listen to me. So again, he's begging, because he's begging the people to hear him, the village, because he knows suffering and pain, disaster. He hears the souls crying, and the crying of the souls makes the devil laugh. I heard the cry of the seven whistlers. What are the seven whistlers? The child foreseeing the danger before it was doomed. Yeah, but what is the seven whistlers? Lucifer smiles, looks on, and awaits. Again, Lucifer smiling because what he said is true, like, or so far it has been coming true, where it's like you're gonna suffer, your soul in a lake of fire, all this bad shit. And this is the seventh son, right? Yeah. He has the power of clairvoyance. What does clairvoyance mean again? I'm pretty sure I know what it means, but I'd be forgetting. So during the instrumental break, it's the impending disaster, and the following verse makes it clear that the instrumental break is the disaster. I like that. Now they see the disaster is done. So yeah, of course, like the break is all the bad shit happening, and then right after it's done, the bridge is done, the solo is done, and also the doom is done. It's happened already. They're blaming him, and they're saying that he brought a curse and all this torment and stuff, but they don't know that he didn't bring a curse to them. He was cursed. He's the one that has to see the future. He's the one that has had the fear all the way since Infinite Dreams. He's the one that wasn't being told his future because it was a doomed future. So they want to say that now potentially he did bring about the curse by being cursed, you know, right? Like being fucked up caused everything else to fuck up, because Lucifer was on his ass and Lucifer was straight up on his dick just trying to, like, you know, fuck up his life and everything. That maybe like being around the village fucked up their life because his life is being fucked up. You get what I'm saying? I'm speaking about the son. For sure, this isn't the father no more. This has to be the son, because the whole album up until this point we've been hyping up the disaster, and or not even just disaster, but just, you know, the trumpets, the revelations type shit, the burning of the soul. So either this is the prophecy, like this is all that I mentioned, or this is the prophecy happening. Yeah, my prediction will surely be true. Will. It's a prediction. But in verse 2, it's the prediction happens, right? Because he says they see that the disaster is done. So he predicts a bad future and it's already happened, right? So the clairvoyant, what could that mean? I have to see what clairvoyant means. Okay, so that's interesting story-wise. So either it is a prophecy and like he's foreseeing the prophecy which will lead us to clairvoyant, or he saw the prophecy and we've been told about the prophecy since the first song, and it's already happened midway through this song, and so now maybe we have to pick up the ashes on track 7 and 8. Because if we think about it, like, let's just skip ahead a little bit just off the titles. Again, I don't know what clairvoyant means. You guys are probably like, this nigga's retarded. How is he a rapper, but how you don't know the definition of words? I forget things. I remember them later on. But so let's just skip clairvoyant, because the clairvoyant, I can't really tell you off that title. But what I want to talk about is Only the Good Die Young. The Only the Good Die Young could possibly be like a reference to the prophecy and like revelations and all that, and how, like, you know, maybe at this point the angels are coming, the 7 angels battling 7 demons, so now only the good people get to die and go to heaven, and everyone else will stay on earth, and, you know, like the soul in a lake of fire, they're gonna be condemned to, which normally good dying young would be a bad thing, like, you know, they usually say eternal life or whatever, but in this situation it would be good, because you rather die young and make it to heaven than live eternally in the lake of fire and your soul burning. But again, this is all like 100% out the ass, because I haven't heard the next 2 tracks. So with that being said, let's just go into the next track. This was a really, really good song, and like I've been saying for the rest of the album, it's very interesting. This is just a very interesting album. I really, really, I think, speaking ahead without having finished the album, I'm gonna just go out and say that progression wise, this is the best they've ever done, like telling stories within a song, not just lyrically but also musically. Like, you know, you've had stuff like Where Eagles Dare, where you hear the gunshots and the machine gun fire and stuff like that, and you've had like, but never have we ever had moments where every single element is designed to progress the story, like from the cadence of those singing to the lyrics to the instruments changing, like, you know, stuff like Phantom of the Opera. I can't really tell you why there's like 40 beat switches in the middle. I can't connect those beat switches to the story being told in the song, in the story. But for this one, I could tell you exactly why. You know, in Moonchild, in the chorus, they introduced the guitars and shit, and like why in Infinite Dreams he's soft spoken in the beginning, and as the song goes on he gets more demonic, you know, and more paranoid. And whereas in the other albums, you know, I feel like they were just doing that for the most part. Obviously a lot of it was intended, but for the most part it was more just for flair, change up. Whereas this one is very, very intentional, and everything has a purpose. Like which makes me believe that the instrumental outro, the soft like acoustics, is for a reason. The song is dark, right? This is basically like bad shit happening. The prophecy is a dark prophecy, and he's cursed, and the weight on his shoulders, being doomed and all that. But the outro is soft and beautiful and melancholy with the acoustic, and it leads to the clairvoyant. So this tells me clairvoyant has to be a song of reflection, right? It has to be. Let's keep going. So I've been seeing little by little. So clairvoyant means kind of like you're able to see the future, seer, or something like that, right? Precognition type shit. So let me keep that in mind. So far, it does have that sound I was talking about. It's a good follow-up after the acoustic. Yeah, it has like a hopeful feeling after the doom, so this is good.
Feel the sweat break on my brow. Is this a vision or not? Melody I see before my eyes.
Those are the keyboards, huh? Or not just.
I wonder why, I wonder how. But it seems that the power's getting stronger every day. I feel a strengthening of fire. But I'm scared I won't be able to control it anymore.
Almost reminds me of Legend of Zelda.
There's a time to live and a time to die.
Such a
When it's
drastic
time
shit.
to meet the maker. There's a time to live when it's time to meet the maker. There's a time to live, but isn't it strange that as soon as you're born, you die?
I could imagine that the chorus sounds good live. Strange. The drum.
Just by looking through your eyes, he could see the future penetrating right in through your mind. See the truth and see your lies. But for all his power, couldn't foresee his own demise.
That's fire.
There's a time to live and a time to die. When it's time to meet the maker. There's a time to live, but isn't it strange that as soon as you're born, you die? There's a time to live and a time to die. When it's time to meet the maker. There's a time to live, but isn't it strange
Sounds so
that as
epic.
soon as you're born, you die?
Alright, that was the Clairvoyant track 7. So this was the penultimate track, correct? Well, I'm already at the about section, so I may as well read it because I was just trying to check the track listing. So I'm gonna talk about the song right now. I'm already here. Lyrics are about the seventh son being a clairvoyant or being clairvoyant. He is now fully fleshed here and could control his visions. These visions started to overwhelm him, confuse him. The only way out for him is death. He couldn't foresee his own death. According to Steve Harris, this was inspired by the death of psychic Doris Stokes and him wondering if he was able to see the future, how come he couldn't see his own death. I'm not the sort of person to go and see a clairvoyant. I'd rather not know. Okay, so clairvoyant does mean like basically future sight type shit. The cover looks crazy to the song. That shit looks wild. What the hell? So this one's pretty, again, another one that's kind of explicit. There's really not a lot of interpretation. Like, he's sweat on his brow, he's stressing because he's seeing shit he doesn't know if it's kind of like, basically this is about Bran from Game of Thrones. I wonder why, I wonder how. The power is getting stronger. I like this part. I feel a strength and inner fire, but I'm scared that I won't be able to control it anymore. It's interesting that he uses the word fire and control, because his soul is gonna be burning in a lake of fire, told to him by Lucifer. That was one of the prophecies, that he's gonna be Lucifer's pawn, basically, or he's gonna at least be in hell type shit. The as soon as you're born, you're dying. It was a little bit corny, that line, because it's kind of like that Jaden Smith meme where, like, you get high and you think about stuff. Like, that's kind of what it reminded me of. Like hits the blunt and be like, oh shit, isn't it crazy that as soon as you're born, you start dying? Whoa. Like, it kind of reminded me of those type of memes. Like, it's just a little nitpick. I'm not trying to talk shit. I better not be seeing no comments like, you don't get the artistic value. Like, shut your bitch ass up. I'm just joking. I really like how at the third line, at least in verse 1 and in verse 3, I'm pretty sure he did it in verse 2. I love how specifically the third line, there is no pause in between lines, right? Because I feel the sweat on my brow. He takes a little pause. Is it me or is it shadows that are dancing on the walls? And he doesn't take a pause. It's immediately, is this a dream or is it now? Same with I feel that the power is getting stronger every day, and then he doesn't pause. He goes, I feel strength. He did the same with verse 3. In the third line, it's like, he could see the future penetrating right through your mind, see the truth and see your lies. It's like almost right immediately, and then he takes the pause for the following line. It's just interesting songwriting. Just just little things like that I pick up on as like a writer. Obviously, I'm not saying that I'm the only one who picked up on that, but it's little stuff like that I'm latching onto. So I like that it's true, like, for all his power, he couldn't see his own demise. I like that. So he really is. So it is foretold that he's gonna die. I thought maybe he could have changed his future. Well, I don't know, because I haven't heard the last song, but it seems like it was written and stuff. Like they say, it was written, so it shall be. But I thought we were gonna get a plot twist that he could change the future. We'll see with the last song. But I like the Be Reborn Again. That line itself makes that whole instrumental part feel like that line. So that was a really good line. And it was good that it was the last track, because again, we've gotten time and time again that he's kind of burdened and he wants to be reborn. He wants to reincarnate. He did, again and again, like that, in that one song. So it's interesting that we're coming back to those themes of, as soon as you there's a time to live, but isn't it strange that as soon as you're born, you're dying and be reborn again? So in a way, we could kind of interpret that line that it's strange that as soon as you're born, you're dying. If we connect it to the outro, it's actually more like, it's crazy how as soon as you're born, you're starting the process of rebirth as soon as you're born. So it's almost like you're always being reborn, right? Because if you're being reborn after your death, technically they're like, yeah, you died, but technically it's just continuing the process of rebirth, of reincarnation. So really you're being born to be born again, which is crazy. So it's like, if it wasn't for that be reborn again, I would say that the line was kind of corny. But knowing the context of the last line, it makes it super interesting how we flip the idea that you're dying as soon as you're born. But no, it's more like you're being born as soon as you're being born, like you're being born again. That's so genius. Man, count on Maiden to not just use stereotypical lines and bullshit. Okay, so this was a good track. It had the sound I was expecting. It had that more upbeat kind of sound right after the prophecy, because the prophecy was so dark. I couldn't imagine it like them following up the prophecy with another very dark song or even a darker song. So it was nice that we kind of got like, and I'm not talking about the lyrics, I'm specifically talking about the sound, the feel, because this feels hopeful, but lyrically, it's kind of distressing how he's sweating his ass off. He's kind of scared. So let's see what he's scared of. Let's see the final song, Only the Good Die Young. Let's keep going. All right, we're heading to the final track 8, Only the Good Die Young. This is actually a pretty short song for the outro. I like how we're ending the album very like hopeful, almost like Rebirth. I would say it sounds like Rebirth, sonically. Like like there's another life after.
The demon in your mind will rape you in your bed at night.
That's dark as shit.
The wisdom of ages, the lies and outrages concealed. Time it waits for no man. The future it is revealed. Time it waits for no man. My face. The moon is red and bleeding. The sun is burned and black. The book of life is silent. No turning back. Only the good die young. All the evil seem to live forever. Only the good die young. Only the good die young.
That's oh my god. I love the bass.
Mystery madman, a victim of cruel charade. Some innocent pawn in an endgame, one more stalemate. Is death another birthday? A way to kiss your dreams goodbye? To the undead live within us, a lover you can trust. Measure your coffin, does it measure up to your lust? So I think I'll live in the good die young. All the evil seem to live forever. Only the good die young. All the evil seem to live forever. Only the good die young. Only the good die young.
I love that section.
Seven deadly sins, 7 ways to win, 7 holy paths to hell. 7 downward slopes.
Interesting how we end the album, how we started the
Seven
album.
burning fires, 7 your desire.
All right, that was the final track 8, Only the Good Die Young. Let me read the about real quick. I'm at the end of the album, so songs about Seven's son having his doubts. He could look to the future, take the responsibility to influence it, but it'll end his life. He has no real proof that for the villagers and has to take vision on faith, but he wonders how he could believe when he could never prove. In the end, it's hinted that he decides to live a sinful life given his abilities, and he throws away responsibility. So the good die young, but the evil lives on forever. I like that. I like that because let's see. Well, first off, let me just talk about the sonics because I know I've been talking about the story and the lyrics a little too long for some people. So sonically, this had a very hopeful, like almost reminds me of Drifter type outro because like you could do outros kind of like Hallowed Be Thy Name or Alexander the Great, or it's kind of like long epics and stuff like that, or you could, or they've been doing stuff like Drifter, stuff like this where it's more like cheerful sounding wise. Obviously the lyrics aren't as cheerful, but it just has that like next day sound, which goes perfect with um what we've been talking about, like reincarnation, you know, next life, which I really like that in verse 3 where it's um is death another birthday. That's like a perfect summarization of what I was trying to say for the previous track, the Clairvoyant. How it's like, isn't it strange that as soon as you're born, you start dying and be reborn again? Basically, they're viewing death as another birthday. You're not. It's not really death. It's more like rebirth. It's so interesting. That's a very great lyric. Very great. And I like how it continues. A way to kiss your dreams goodbye. So, and do the undead live within us and look through our eyes? So we're living they're living vicariously through us. You know, maybe our past lives, kind of like the Avatar, influence us subconsciously. You know, but a way to kiss your dreams goodbye could be like, maybe you don't have to suffer anymore. Maybe you don't have to deal with the infinite dreams. Maybe you're relieved from anything you had to deal with. But at the same time, it could be like kiss your dreams goodbye, as in, you know, you lost all faith, you lost all hope, and now you're just nothing. What was the struggle for? Just to suffer? Let's see. The demon in your mind will rape you in your bed at night. That's basically, to me, it's just infinite dreams. Yeah, infinite dreams being just summarized. The wisdom of age, the lies and outrages concealed. Time. I like the way time, because it reminded me, this song had a lot of elements of time is always on my side. It reminded me of that. Time, it waits for no man. My future, it is revealed. My fate is sealed. So he knows that, it was written, my fate is sealed. And he knows that, time is ever moving. If I cancel tomorrow, the undead will thank me today. Fly in the face of your prophets, I mock your morality place. No turning back. If I cancel tomorrow, the undead will thank me today. So if he stops the world, the dead will be happy, right? Because everyone's dead. And it sounds like the end of the world with the moon is red, bleeding, sun is burned, book of life is silent. And then only the good die young and the evil seem to live forever, which is like basically a summarization of what I was saying also previously, where it's like to die and go to heaven or to live forever in a lake of fire. You know what I mean? Mystery madman, a victim of cruel charades, some innocent. I like how there's a lot of chess stuff. Pawn, stalemate, bishop, a victim of crucial race, some innocent pawn in an end game, one more stalemate is definitely a way to kiss your dream. Walking on water are miracles, all you can trust. Measure your coffin, does it measure up to your lust? Basically, I really like that line, the measure your coffin, does it measure up to your lust? Like, like basically, was your death like just kind of like Anubis type situation where he weighs your heart? That's what I feel like it is. But so I think I'll leave you with your bishops and your guilt. So until the next time, have a good sin. So this is the point in the story where he decides, you know what? I am gonna live evil. I am gonna, like, why I gotta be the prophet, right? That's what I feel like. And then that's why we go 7 deadly sins, 7 ways to win, 7 holy paths to hell, 7 downward slopes, 7 bloody hopes, 7 are your burning fires, 7 are your desires. So again, the good thing about now that I know we have a lot of themes of rebirth, reincarnation, death is a birthday. The beginning and the end of the album makes sense because it's just a cyclical nature of seven deadly sins, seven ways to win, and it's the same exact sound and everything. So it's like an audible version of that theme. That's like, okay, we're going back in a Mobius. We're going in a circle now. But if we also take it that he decided not to be the prophet, and he decided to be, because he flirted with the devil, and he banged Lucifer, and in the evil that men do, he it was written that he was always gonna abandon humanity. He was always gonna use his his powers for evil, and so he fell to the seven deadly sins, right? What are they, like greed, lust, all that shit? I don't know all of them, but I know they were mentioned. I know lust was mentioned. I know that for a fact. Lust was mentioned a couple times. So he fell to his seven deadly sins, but there was seven ways to win, but he didn't win. And there was seven holy paths to hell, which he ended up going to. Seven downward slows, seven bloodied hopes. Those bloodied hopes could probably be, the hopes of the people, that the village and all that, the people who didn't listen to him, you know, because they didn't listen to him. He's like, well, I'm gonna burn all seven of your the fires. Seven is my desire. Like, fuck it. Like, I'm not gonna waste my time with y'all. I'm gonna just have a good sin. So let's click it. The seventh son gives up on the villagers and leaves them with their religion. He never uses his clairvoyancy again, and goes to sin some more, leaving the good behind him. Let's see. So only the good die young. The demon in your mind will rape you. The wisdom of ages. Time it waits for no man. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that interpretation, that the song, and therefore the album, and therefore the story, ends on a dark note where the seventh son decides to abandon the good and decides to live an eternal life of evil. You know, because I mean, so I guess his fate was sealed then. I guess there was no plot twist that, oh, he ends up choosing humanity. No, like, we were told multiple times in Moonchild, like, yo, this is what the album's gonna be about. This nigga's gonna suffer, his soul's gonna burn. Then in Infinite Dreams we continue those, and really the whole album we continue that. And we're given a little bit of hope with Clairvoyant and Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. But I mean, by then the deed was done. They already had banged, Lucifer in the guise of a woman and all that. It was done. Like, that's it. So maybe the seventh son of a seventh son can be like speaking about humanity in general, right? Because if we take the idea that the seventh son is supposed to be the second coming of Christ, right? Well, the second coming of Christ hasn't happened then, and it hasn't happened now. Because if it did, I wouldn't be making this video. I would either be in hell or in heaven, most likely hell. So maybe this is like, this album and this story is basically saying, hey, somewhere out there, I'm not saying like they mean it in real life, but let's just say the story. Somewhere out there, there's a seventh son who has a seventh son, and he's supposed to be the savior of humanity, the second coming of Christ. But time and time again, because he's constantly being reborn, he has his same ideals, and it's just it continues the cycle of the seventh son, who's supposed to be the chosen one, ends up choosing evil, which ends up damning humanity, and so we continue living on in evil until the cycle is broken. Then the seventh son will no longer be reborn. There's no reason for him to be reborn, because at that point, Revelations, all that apocalypse already happens. You guys get what I'm saying? So like, I feel like it's like a commentary on that, and that like if the seventh son chooses good, then the story ends. But because the seventh son chooses evil, we as humanity will continue to be evil. We will continue on the path of sea of madness, if that makes any sense. We will always be on the sea of madness because the seventh son will always choose himself, whether that be because he was raised that way through his father, the first seventh son, or because he saw the sea of madness and he saw the village and he saw things and he's like, you know what, like, I'm not fucking with humanity, I'm gonna just choose myself. Whether it because it was always destined, that's the reason why humanity could keep living on forever, because that's just how it's gonna be. There is no changing the story. It's always gonna start with temptation of Lucifer, and it's always gonna end with the seventh son abandoning good. Interesting. It is a very interesting album. Wow. Musically, another great song. Like, I love the softer moments. At first I was a little taken aback by like the softer sound of like the outro, and which coincidentally is the intro to the album, and just those acoustic moments and stuff. But like, this is an album I'm gonna have to listen to more and more because it's so different. I'm not saying it's bad, it's really, really fucking good, but it's so different compared to what I'm used to from Maiden. So let's go into the outro. Alright, y'all, the outro's not gonna be too crazy because, I mean, the good thing about this album, I will say, that, like, breaking it down, is that the outro itself, there's not much to say story-wise because I covered it all. It's a very lean album in terms of story. There's not, like, a lot of interpretation within the actual progression of the story. The interpretation lies within the actual words themselves, if that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Yeah, for the people saying that I was gonna like this album for the story and the lyrics and the narration and all that, yeah, you guys were on the money. Like, this was also a great concept album in the fact that it wasn't beating you over the head with the themes of the album. Like, it's there, but it's never like, hey, let me sit you down and just break it down line by line. Like, no, by the last song, you don't really know the end of the story. You don't know whether he did choose humanity or not. Like, yeah, you could kind of assume that that's probably what happened, that he abandoned humanity, but we don't truly know that that's the end of the story. We don't know if maybe his rebirth will end in a good cycle rather than an evil cycle, if that makes any sense. This album had a lot of, like I said, a lot of different things with the keyboard and the acoustics and the demonic voices and the progression and this is a very, I'm not saying it's progressive rock. I don't know what that is like that, but I'm saying that this is a very progressive album in the fact that there's just progression everywhere. Progression within the chords, within the solos, within the delivery of the music, the lyrics, just the actual track listing. There's just progression everywhere. This is like the definition of progression. And I'm not saying the music genre. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of, we start here, we end here, we're going through this journey, boom, 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 boom. So it was very interesting compared to their previous 6 works. Man, I could understand why this is some of y'all favorite work, but it's so different. Like, I guess that, like, uniqueness is what probably attracts a lot of y'all to this album, because prior to this, we weren't doing a lot of things we were doing in this album, we being Iron Maiden. But yeah, this was a very lean album. It also felt shorter than the previous 2. It felt more lean. Some of the tracks, they felt a little, especially because I'm coming off Somewhere in Time and Power Slave, but I felt like the 3 and the 4 minute tracks felt like maybe they could have used a little bit more length to, like, lengthen the solos or add just a little bit more, or not, maybe, I don't know. The songs are great as they are, so I don't know. It's probably, just ignore my complaint, whatever. But with that being said, this album is another banger. We're 7 for 7, and we're 7 for 7 really in different sounds. The only 2 albums that really, really sound alike are the self-titled and Killers. Everything after that varies drastically. Like Number of the Beast is way different than Peace of Mind, which is way different than Power Slave, which is way different than Somewhere in Time. And this album in particular feels like a culmination of what they've been doing so far, with like the operatic singing of Somewhere in Time, the crazy long length and beat switches of Power Slave, specifically with Seventh Son, the title track. A lot of the darkness of like Killers and Numbers, and obviously the satanic elements. And I don't mean satanic as in like, oh, this is a Satanist album. I've already got into that before, but like the satanic elements of Number of the Beast, the darkness of Killers, so yeah, this feels like a culmination of their previous 6 works so far, and a great album that, like I said, it's a great album, but I just have to listen to it more because of how different it was. Now, getting into my top 3 tracks, even listening to the other works, I'm gonna say that my favorite track was The Evil That Men Do. My second favorite was Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. And my third favorite was Moonchild. This album was just great. Like Maiden, bro, these guys are 7 for 7. Dropping just consistent bangers and consistent classics. Like, obviously I have no idea what the classic songs are, considering I try to go into every album blind, but they're just legendary. Like, this is 7 albums in a row where you can't really name a bad song. Like, tell me what's a bad song from the 7 albums. None. Like, I'm trying really hard to think. Man, I've been loving this journey. You guys are the best. Like, Maiden, bro, you guys are just on fire. And the subs, you guys are great with all the recommendations, preparing me for the next album, letting me know what's to come. This was just great. Like, let's get into the 4 C's real quick, which I sometimes forget them, but hopefully I don't forget this time. Consistency. What was it consistent in its quality, as in were there no major ups and no major downs? 10 out of 10 for consistency. Like, every track was consistently great, and there was no one where I'm like, I should have been left off the album. It was just consistent greatness. 10 out of 10. Cohesiveness. 100 out of 10. This is a concept album. I'd be astonished if it wasn't cohesive. 100 out of 10. And that's my final answer. That's a real answer, by the way. This was mad cohesive. Like, all the themes, and even the like little connections with the other albums, like just the references of time and stuff like that. It's just like, yeah, they don't mean it to connect to the other songs, but the ideas are there. Same how, like I was saying, how like The Village and all that, like you could kind of see that as the Sea of Madness if you really feel like it. So again, 100 out of 10 for cohesiveness. Like, come on. Creativity, come on, another 10 out of 10. This album's creative in all facets. The story is creative, the writing is creative, the instrumentals are creative, the beat switches are creative. This is another just intensely creative album, just beautiful. Consistency, creativity, cohesiveness, conciseness, another 10 out of 10. What can I say? 8 tracks coming in roughly like, I don't know, I would assume like 44 minutes. Just lean and mean, like, you know, none of the songs felt too dragged on. You could maybe make an argument for Seventh Son of a Seventh Son being a bit dragged on, like the title track, but I very much enjoyed it. If anything, I was asking for some songs to be a little bit longer. So if anything, they're passing with flying colors in that regard. So as usual, this album got like a 40 out of 40. Like, well, I guess more like 400 out of 40. Or what is that? 140 out of 40. My bad. My math is off. But yeah, this album was... this album is special. Really, they're all 7 albums are special, including Peace of Mind. Peace of Mind is fucking great. All of their albums so far, they're just fantastic works of art, and in their own right too. Like, you like soft sounds, go for Peace of Mind. You like some real satanic hardcore shit, go for this, or go for Number the Beast. You want to thug and be just turn up, put Power Slave. So like, I'm very, very happy that I've got through the initial 7 albums that people say are legendary. Like, I feel so proud. Like, I've come so far already. Like, my journey, I don't know how much albums we got left, but I feel like I'm a third of the way there, and I feel like I've improved. Like, I could hear the bass, I could hear the drums, I could hear, you know, the differences. I could hear the singers more in the mix. I still feel sometimes like the lead singer gets lost sometimes in the mix, but that's fine. Like, that's whatever. Do you guys see any improvement in my, like, enjoyment of the music? Like, do you guys think I hear more elements now? What do you guys think? Yeah, I want to say thank you to each and every one of y'all for tuning in. As always, you could have been anywhere else in the world right now, but you're here, so I appreciate that. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, be a real nigga, basically. But yeah, as usual, which I'm gonna probably comment it, what are your top 3 favorite tracks? What are your favorite moments on the album? Where does this rank in your Iron Maiden rankings? Personally, for me, this is probably gonna where I'm gonna be losing people, which is why I put it at the end. But like, on an initial listen, it's not in the top 3. Like I said, my top 3 is self-titled, Somewhere in Time, and Power Slave. And I don't know if this could top self-titled. Like, self-titled, I just really like that album. I really like Iron Maiden. I really like that album. And it's always gonna have, I'm gonna always be nostalgic to it, because it's the album that kickstarted my journey and this YouTube channel. So it's different. I hope you guys understand that. Like, it's not just an album, you know, just how some people were telling me, like, oh, my first ever Maiden album was Somewhere in Time, then that's my favorite album. Like, sure, you love the album, yeah, like, obviously you like the sound of it, but, you know, there's some nostalgia there too, you know what I mean? So I hope that doesn't get you guys mad. They're like, oh, I mean, he didn't say Seventh Son is his favorite. Like, shut up, bro. This is still a great album, bro. Like I said, even if Peace of Mind is still my least favorite, which I don't think so, I think so it'd be Number of the Beast. But like, even if, you know, those 2 albums are in my least favorites, I would still say they're 9s or 8 out of 10s in the whole album. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're tripping over nothing, bro. But yeah, again, thank you to you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. See you guys next time for the next album, which it's a little scary, because beyond these seven first albums, these first 7 albums, you guys haven't been really talking about what's to come. So it's to the point where I don't even know what the next name, what the next album name is. Every time I've known the next album name, this is the first one where I don't even know the name. I'm gonna have to Google it. That's crazy. So it got me a little worried that nobody's talking about it, but maybe it could be an underrated gem. Who knows? Maybe I could love it. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Stay safe.